Big Footy Port Adelaide podcast is proudly sponsored by New Vision.
My team, kinda power. I love the power. I love the power.
Guys, and welcome to the Big Footy Port Adelaide podcast, a weekly show about all things Port Adelaide Footy Club. I'm your host, Macca 19, and joining me as always, we've got co-host Fishing Rick. How are you, mates?
Lord Macca, I'm very good, mate. I'm 5 days on and very optimistic again.
That's it. We're going to win this one.
Absolutely.
Gotta have faith. That's what George Michael told me anyway. So.
That wasn't in a public toilet, was it?
No, thankfully. No.
Sure. All right. He's not at Adelaide Oval on Sunday, is he?
Maybe. What a risque start to the podcast. This is fantastic.
He'll be distracted.
For the first time... Enough's enough, Rick. Let's go. For the first time on the podcast, we've got MrSpeaker.
G'day, guys. How are you?
Good, mate.
Yeah, very good, thanks.
Not a lot.
That's the way. Now, look, before we get started, let's find out a little bit about your Port Adelaide background and how you came to support the club.
I was really born into a Port family. My great-grandfather played some league footy and a fair bit of reserves for the Magpies in the early 1920s.
Yep.
He was one of the players that was commemorated by the club this year because he fought in the First World War.
Oh, fantastic.
Then his son, so my grandfather and a couple of his brothers played some Colts in the 50s or about that.
Yep.
And then Dave Gills, my grandmother's cousin as well, so there's that.
Yeah, right.
Pretty much just born into a Port family, and that's the way it's always going to be, I reckon.
Fantastic. What about your favourite match?
First game I went to at the MCG, the 2004 Granny, I reckon.
Nice one.
Good way to start.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And what about your favourite player?
Past player would probably have to be Treaders, and at the moment it's pretty difficult, but current player I'd probably go Jasper Pittard at the moment.
Yeah, you legend. Don't you steal him from me.
Jasper.
Oh, this has been set up.
Don't even go there. Yeah, he can be your second favourite player behind someone else, all right? No one else is allowed to have him as a favourite player.
All right, mate.
I love it. It's fantastic.
Yep.
I got my chair.
Oh, beautiful.
So watch out.
Chair has returned.
It has.
And speaking about love, before we get started on the preview of the Melbourne game, we might as well talk about the big news of today, which is Dom Cassisi choosing to retire after this week's match. He would have played 228 games, kicked 74 goals. He was picked 50 in the 2000 draft, a very good draft for the Port Adelaide Footy Club, that one. Obviously played in the 2004 premiership and was our captain through the dark ages of 2009 through to 2012.
What a legend.
He is.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Not much else that need to be said. He led us in some horrible times and he led us very well, except for the infamous Nespresso affair somewhere in 2010-11 season. But outside of that, he was a true champion of the club and will always be remembered as one, I'd imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as Kenny said, not many people can put their hand up and say that they've done what Dom's done. So, yeah, just a very, very good player for our club, I think.
Yeah, he has had a fantastic career for the Port Adelaide Footy Club. He's played for 14 seasons. Took him a few years to get really going. He really made a spot his own in 2004, playing a bit as a kind of a defensive forward. And then moving back to a back flank as well. He had such a good grand final that year as well.
You brought up his smother in the grand final. That was a turning point. And I think that's, if you were to talk about Dom, that would be the epitome of his career at Port Adelaide, wouldn't it? The hard work, the in and under work, and the one percenters. I'm sure that's probably why he got made captain, not because of his flair or talent, but because he was just a hard working man, and that's what he brought to the team.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I mean, he probably lacked a bit of X factor and lacked a bit of polish, but what he lacked in those areas, he more than made up for in, just his will to hunt the ball and get the ball, his insane tackling. He was just about the best tackler in the league for a long time there. Was really good in the clearances and a wonderful contested possession winner.
So do you still maintain that that's your favourite Dom moment?
Yeah, I would pick that moment ahead of the Cassisi does win it Geelong game. Yep.
2007, that game, last minor round, fantastic goal, under pressure, and it was probably the best target he's hit in that last 7 years. Only joking. It was how good was it? I mean, I thought we were dusted, and for him to come back and ice it was just pure gold.
I think the best thing about that was he played on Gary Ablett all day. I thought he did a pretty good job on Ablett that day, and then he got absolutely slammed by the commentators for about a minute there for allowing Ablett to kick what might have been the winner for Geelong. And then he goes and kicks the winner himself.
Yeah, I reckon his effort last year in the second showdown, getting pushed out of the contest by Broadbent so that Chad Wingo could take that mark, was pretty special too.
Yeah. Well, good on you, Dom. You've had a fantastic career for the Port Adelaide Footy Club, and you can enjoy your pods in peace now.
Absolutely. I might have to try and guess his email address, and we'll send him this loving podcast.
Bit creepy.
We got the power to win, power to roll. Come on, Port Adelaide aggression. We are the power from Port.
Well, look, let's get on to our preview. We're playing Melbourne at Adelaide Oval on Sunday. It's become such a must-win game, this one. Last time we met was almost the start of the rot, which was the unconvincing 20-point win in Alice Springs in round 11. Boys, what are we expecting for this one?
I'm worried.
A win.
You're worried?
I'm worried. I'm worried.
Why are you worried, Rick?
Well, I've lost my my faith over the last 3 weeks, and I think you're right. It's been more than that. It's the Melbourne game has probably been the beginning of our slide, and there was massive warning signs from that game. And I guess, look, I expect to win, but I don't think the boys have actually shown us anything to say that we should be convinced that we've overcome this issue of teams surrounding or flooding around the ball, and that we've been able to handle it. And Melbourne's going to come with a pretty adept game plan against us on Sunday. And, this is a real line in the sand moment for me, dare I say it, for us to be able to show that we can actually effectively sort of take on that game plan.
I just don't think Melbourne can win it this week. If we come to play and we play, even if we play average, I just don't think Melbourne can kick a winning score against Port Adelaide this weekend. In the last 2 weeks, they've been absolutely thrashed, and they've only kicked 4 and 5 goals in the last 2 games.
Yeah, man. They had 30 inside 50s against Geelong.
Exactly. They've given up 27 and 28 extra inside 50s to their opponents in the last 2 weeks. I mean, I just can't see them how they're going to win this game. It might sound arrogant, it might sound unnecessarily cocky, but I just don't think they've got the cattle to get the job done.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Macca.
Weren't we saying that about Essendon? Their key forwards have only kicked 1 goal a game, and they don't have the scoring power to knock us off. And what happened?
Sure, but Essendon still. Yeah, I mean, I do see your point, but Essendon didn't kick a winning score that day. It was only us that, sort of blew it.
Yeah, well, that's...
I mean, they won the game with, 6 goals or something like that, so...
And we've lost our offensive ability to a degree, or we've lost our defensive accountability, which was our offensive weapon. So I am a little bit concerned that maybe we might not be able to handle the pressure. Now, I mean, I'm being very pessimistic here, but it's good to have a little bit of a differing opinion, I guess. But I just can't see where we can make outlandish statements as you are, Macca, which is just crazy for you. These out there. How can we lose this game? Well, I think the last 3 weeks have shown us that we've lost to teams like 9th, 10th, or 12th on the ladder, and we've lost them. So I'm really hoping the boys come out snarly and motivated this week to prove me wrong, and I'm sure they're all listening to this to prove me wrong this week.
Yeah, I reckon Melbourne are probably a different level of crap to what Richmond are really. So I'm really expecting that sort of our boys just come out and say, enough is enough. We cannot lose to the 16th place side on the ladder.
Look, if they win the game with a forward line consisting of Cameron Peterson, Jack Watson, Chris Dawes, I will probably walk in front of a car on the way out of the stadium. I should probably edit that out, actually.
Well, what's it? I got the mental blank again. Who was the? Is it Pedersen?
Spud Pedersen.
No, the one he played defender, and everyone thinks he's a spud, and he played like a bloody defender of the year against us in Alice Springs. Lyndon Dunn. I mean, that says it all. I mean, we're sort of falling into the old ways where we need to bring out the spuds that tear us apart thread. But
to be fair, I think he's had a pretty good year for his usual standards. I mean, I don't think it's just us that he's played well against.
No, I mean, some people were talking about him as being a potential All-Australian.
Yeah.
As well. So he has had a very good year, Lyndon Dunn. We might as well talk about selections. It's something that I've been dreading all week, seeing what the reaction is going to be at 6 o'clock this afternoon. But it wasn't too bad. We've got two definite ins at the moment in Dom Cassisi playing his last game, and Paul Stewart comes back into the side as well. We've got one definite out in Kane Mitchell, who's been omitted, and we've brought two other players into the extended interchange in Benny Newton and Johnny Butcher.
Butch.
Back to the future. It's great.
Yes, it is. I actually would have liked a few more outs, to be honest. Nice and early. But I reckon young Jarman might be in a little bit of trouble. He might.
Yeah. I reckon you can probably pencil in Sammy Gray as an out as well.
Well, I hope so. And when I say, I'll preface it when I say I hope so. I mean, Jarman's had a great year. I think he probably needs a little bit of a rest now, a spell. He's had a fantastic season, big bodies up against him, or great players. So I think it's time maybe to give him a bit of a rest coming into finals. Sammy Gray, again, I think, we have been exposed for a bit of height. And I think Ben Newton has to have a real opportunity to show us what he can do. And we need that and it's more about the clearances. We need some clearance winners in that side because that's where we're not doing our best at this point in time. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's look at the interchange bench. Hamish Hartlett's definitely going to play. Aaron Young, you would think, is definitely going to play. So that leaves the other five players in Johnny Butcher, Jarman Impey, Tom Logan and Sam Gray. That's four players. Good counting, Macca. You would think Sam Gray would drop out. You'd think Tommy Logan would drop out with Dom coming back in the side.
Okay, so you reckon Dom back in, Tom goes out?
I would think just for the feng shui of the side, that would make sense.
And then Dom drops out next week, so Tommy will probably come straight back in.
Yeah. Well, maybe Logan will play and Impey will drop out.
Yeah, but I guess if you went Hartlett...
We're only going to play one of those back flankers.
Yeah.
But so that means Hartlett, Butcher, Logan, the first three, and Aaron Young, so Ben Newton misses out again?
Well, I reckon they might still go with Benny Newton over Butch.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't overly surprise me since they've brought in Paul Stewart, who's sort of a third toll, I guess. I mean, I'd like Butch to come in, but I can see that possibly he won't.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it's very controversial and it's a polarising topic, and but I think for me, and it's not even maybe necessarily about his form, and I can't wait for the next backlash I'm going to get from Porsche with my comments, but I think I want to see Butcher in the side just to see what Westhoff does. It's more about Westhoff than what it is about Butcher. I just think that's really going to be the tipping point for me with Westhoff lately, because I've been so disappointed with his output, and I just think if we have that second tall forward. It allows Westhoff to go back, go to the middle a bit more freely, and he doesn't have to worry about, oh, shit, do I have to be forward? What's going on here? And, it'll be, and look, if Macca, if you're right about Melbourne and their incompetence, if Butcher can't kick a few goals this week, well, what are we going to do? What did he do last time against Melbourne and Adelaide Oval?
We had about 3 kicks and that was about it.
Wasn't it? Wasn't that in 2012?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's no good. That was a bad example. I thought he kicked 6 goals.
No, that was against the Bulldogs.
Oh, I'm getting
Good.
you all right, boys? I was going to squeak myself.
Self-squeakage. I like it.
In all seriousness, though, I think if Butch does have a quiet game, I don't see any point in dropping him back to the sample, really. I mean, fair enough that people bang on about form, but I think the best way that we can develop Butch is by playing him in the AFL and exposing him to that level of pressure each week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that as well. You just got to see how he goes. You just got to bite the bullet, put him in the side, see how the structure works with 3 genuine tall forwards, take the pressure off Westhoff, take the pressure off Schultz. Even if Butcher doesn't kick a few goals a game, he's still going to command respect from a key defender and take the pressure off the other 2.
Yeah, spot on.
Can I also ask that as supporters, we actually support on the weekend, and I just hope like hell, if his first kick is an average kick, that we just don't have a collective sigh around the stadium, because I just can't see how that's going to help guys' confidence. I just really hope as supporters that we're out there supporting and cheering him on and encouraging, and I think we all just need to remember that. I don't know. I'm not a professional player, but I could just imagine if there's 40,000 people there, my first shot's his shank. It's not going to do my confidence any good if 40,000 people are like, oh, I told you.
Yeah.
No, you're spot on. Absolutely.
So let's cheer him on, peoples, because he's a Port Adelaide player, and I'm pretty sure he's going to come good for us very, very shortly.
That's if he even plays.
Either that or Dom
Sammy Gray. Yeah.
Or I was going to say, if he doesn't play, buddy, Ken Hinkley's the biggest troll of Port Adelaide forums going around.
Good call. Good call.
So where are we going to win the game then, Macca? What do we have to do this week? If you're so confident that we're going to blow them out of the water by 150 points, how are we going to do this?
Look, I think it just comes down to the midfield, to be honest. I mean, they've got some decent midfielders, and Nathan Jones is a very good player. Dom Tyson's one of the better young players in the league. He's had a fantastic season. Bernie Vince goes all right. Jack Grimes goes all right. They've got Geordie McKenzie, Jack Viney. They've got all these young players, but they just don't win enough of the bowl. I mean, that's their problem. They're 18th in clearances and 18th in inside 50, so they don't win a lot of the bowl, and they don't get it forward enough. Simple as that. So all we need to do is win the bowl, and I think we will win the game. Simple as that.
Well, we didn't do too well at doing that last week though against Richmond, did we?
No, we didn't. But are you putting up Dustin Martin, Brett Deledio, Trent Cotchin as equals to Nathan Jones, Dom Tyson, and Bernie Vince? I mean, Richmond's midfield is elite, even though the rest of their side arguably isn't. I'm not sure there's an elite part of Melbourne's team.
Man, you're making a lot of cliches tonight, Macca, that could come back and haunt you. But I'm with you. I agree. You can't compare the two midfields. And
I'm just taking a super confident track this week. I just don't think we can lose this game. I can't see how we can lose this game.
Well, I think we can only lose it if we're lazy.
I'm talking myself into it at the moment.
Yeah, look, I mean, I find it highly unlikely that we're going to be lazy this week. I mean, these boys should be bleeding for our former captain this week, and I feel sorry for probably Bobby Carlisle and Jackson Tringrove, who've played so much football with him. that they probably can't be out there playing the game with them. I'm sure they're probably bitterly disappointed that they're not playing. But yeah, I'm with you. I can't see us really being mentally switched off this week. So hopefully your calls are correct. But I'm with you. I think the midfield's probably been our biggest issue for the last 6 weeks. It's been very inconsistent, and there's a few of our leaders that really need to step up this week, and Brad Ebert's probably one of them, and I'm hoping he can provide us with a lot of line-breaking run that ET likes all so much. Well, do you think it's a big game for Lobie this weekend?
Well, he's coming up against Mark Jamo, who's a pretty good ruckman, and is one of those sort of big bustling guys that Lobie sometimes struggles with. So it is a big game for Lobie this weekend, absolutely.
Yeah, kind of a bit unusual for a ruckman, but I think almost more important sometimes is Lobie's work around the ground, especially sort of in those centre square bounces. When the ball hits the ground, he can often come sort of a fourth midfielder. And Jamar's a bit of a big oaf really around the ground, but his tap work's good. So I think it's a good matchup, sort of, because they're kind of different players.
Well, I'd really love to see Matt Lobie have more influence around the ground. That's probably my biggest criticism of Matt. And I don't know if it's it's our game plan.
Cold.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's our game plan that we just don't intend to use him. I really would like to see more of a marking presence along the lines. And,
he's too unreliable in doing that. I mean, I think we'd all love to see him become that sort of around the ground player, but he just can't take marks. So the players, I think, have just given up kicking to him because he always drops them.
Yeah, I agree, mate, and it's something he has to. I don't know if he can. I guess he can always work and improve, but it's a bit disappointing that we haven't seen an evolution in his game by now at 24, going on 25, if I remember rightly. I would have been hoping for more influence, and I've banged on about it before. To me, Port Adelaide ruckman, a ruckman that around the ground take marks and influence the game, and Matt's not doing that. And so I'm hoping against this sort of Melbourne side that we can see that sort of presence from him against them this weekend.
Yep.
We need that, especially with Trengrove out at the moment. With our lack of height, we need that influence.
Yeah. I know I kidded earlier about their losing to a team with Pedersen, Watson, Dawes up forward, but you know what? If they actually play Max Gawn as well, that's a very, very tall forward line, and I'm not sure. If it is a dry track and they are able to get it in there enough times, they might actually kick a winning score.
What's going on here? You're starting to change your opinion.
No, I'm just playing devil's advocate. It's all right.
Yeah. All right. Well, a big Maxi Gawn played last time. I think it was fairly quiet, but I reckon he had a couple of taps and maybe kicked a goal. So, but then it's the same thing that we were saying about Butch before. It's taking a key defender, or, well, we don't really have any, but a tall defender, and sort of taking pressure off the other tall forwards.
Well, look, who's going to win it for us on the weekend?
What do you reckon, Speaker? Jasper Pittard, I reckon. What a legend.
Yeah. Well, funny you should say that, because I reckon really the main thing for us, taking a bit of an alternative view, is quick transition from defence. Because, the last couple of weeks we get bogged down and we can't really clear it very easily. And it's far easier to say than to do, but I'd like to see us break open Melbourne's zone by attacking the weak spots, just sort of as we've done throughout the year, but have been lacking lately. And, obviously Jasper's a big part of that, so...
I'd actually argue with you there. I don't think it's actually the quick movement from defence. I actually think it's the quick movement from the midfield. I think that's where we're missing it. Jasper and O'Shea have been trying to move it last week, especially quickly from defence, but it's our midfielders, other than take out Matt White, of course, where we've seemed to be really stagnant. Polek's really reduced his output in relation to line-breaking running compared to what he was doing at the start of the season. And Brad Ebert's another one. Those two players were providing us with a lot of line-breaking run, and they're not doing it at the moment.
Yeah, that's a fair enough call, and I can see where you're coming from. But the way I see it, if we get it out of the back line quickly, hopefully those players can get the jump on their player and get a couple of metres clear, and then we generate that quick transition the whole way down the ground. And I mean, we saw it with Matty White last week. I think we got a quick kick out, then a quick handball to Matty White, and he was off and kicked probably the goal of the year.
Yeah.
Did you think Jasper was hard done by not getting that push in the back after that, unlucky shot on goal? I thought he should have had another shot on goal.
Absolutely. I mean, it was just a blatant push in the back. Jasper should have been kicking a goal.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean, I saw that he sort of tripped on that blade of grass when he had a shot, and it's understandable that he missed like he did. But I mean, the umpire just to ignore that push in the back.
It's just a Jasper Pittard hater, isn't he? Really?
The umpire was too busy laughing.
Who invited you into this conversation? Eh? I just had to bring that up again because it is pretty funny. Yeah, look, I'm with you, but I reckon it's the line-breaking running for me. And, I think it's, to me, I'm going to pick on Brad Ebert and Jared Pollitt. For me, they're the two key players in relation for us winning the game. We really need those guys running hard and breaking their lines of congestion.
Yeah, no doubt. I think those two have definitely been poor lately.
Yeah. What about you, Matt?
You are right, guys. It is about the fast transition football, I think, this week. I mean, Melbourne play a very, very slow possession game, and they move it almost at snail pace up the field. I mean, I think they're 16th in bounces, so they don't have a lot of run and carry. It's all about the possession football and trying to sort of limit the amount of the ball that the opposition gets, so therefore limiting the scoring chances that the opposition gets, as opposed to trying to win the game themselves.
Yeah, and on that, I mean, considering how slow they are, they don't score very well. So I'm sort of thinking if we keep them under about 70 points, and I mean, we're usually a pretty high-scoring team, that should just about do it, I think.
Yeah.
And not only that, I mean, if we can get a nice win here, like, let's say we get a big percentage win, 60-plus points, I mean, coming into the break, that's going to do the players' confidence a world of good, and I'd be very confident with us coming out of the break. I think everything's around the break, and I said that on Tuesday night. And it's all, to me, it's all about this game, getting the confidence back up, and then we'll be heading strong into the season, I reckon, into the finals part of the season.
Yep. Well, look, let's do the 4 questions now. We'll start with time to stand up. Rick, whose time is it to stand up this week?
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm going the two, Brad Ebert and Jared Pollitt. They've been down. They haven't been horrible, but they have been down, and they're down on their best. And, as we pointed out, we need their ability to dominate the midfield and get spread from the midfield. So, for me, those two boys need to stand up.
Yep, I reckon I'm going to take it a bit differently. Given that people gain height when they stand up, I'd have to say it's time for the forward line to stand up.
Yeah, cool.
Good call. I like that.
They were pretty woeful last week.
They were.
Yep.
Look, for me, it's got to be our midfield. I think there's no excuses this week. I think winning the midfield wins us the game. As I've said, Melbourne are 18th in clearances, 16th in contested possessions, 18th in inside 50, 16th in bounces. They just don't win a lot of the ball. And I really want to see big games from Ebert. I want to see a big game from Polek, Wingard, Boak. All these guys, except for Boak, have been down in recent weeks. I think there's no excuses this week. It's got to be our midfield that's got to stand up.
Yeah.
Geez, we're all smart people.
Mate, we should get paid for this shit, honestly.
Damn right we should. We should free block of chocolate or something. Can you tell I'm hungry?
Not at all. Not at all. Well, look, who's the danger man, Mr. Speaker? I'll start with you with this one.
All right. Well, Nathan Jones is probably the only Melbourne player that I'd consider a star, but I think more important for Melbourne would be Paul Rose. If he can get them up and get them to, I guess, out-pressure us around the stoppages and shut down our run, that'll go a long way towards getting them up. So, yeah, Paul Rose would be the danger man.
Bloody screw Paul Roos. What are you talking about? Can we get a new upgrade on the stadium? I'm just seeing the designs of the new Perth stadium, and it looks heaps better than Adelaide Oval. So can we renovate ours so that we're better again? At least theirs go the whole way around the stadium, for crying out loud. At least we only did a 3/4 job. What the hell's going on there? What was the question?
So your danger man is the Perth Stadium.
No, my danger man, I don't know. Let's go Gawn. I'm going to Gawn. Yeah, I mean, this guy must be a genetic freak because I remember at Alice, Jasper tried to tackle him and couldn't get it and he kicked a goal. And Jasper can take down anyone. So I'm worried about Gawn because if he kicks 4 goals, we're screwed.
I like it, Rick. I like it a lot.
Thank you very much.
Look, my danger man this week. Look, I think their forward line could be dangerous if all their forward tolls do play. That's really going to stretch our defence. But I'm going to go against the grain this week and say that the danger man is ourselves. I think we are our own danger man this week. I think if we come to play, we're going to win. But it's up to us to make sure that it happens. As we've seen the last few weeks, if our heads aren't in it, we won't win it.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yep. Again, very astute comments by us all.
And the key to winning, Rick?
Got to run and have confidence and back ourselves in, mate. We've lacked it the last 6 weeks, and we need to find it. And my key is our tackling pressure. Where has it gone? Right? That second half against the Bulldogs was fantastic in recent times. We locked down their last outlet pass with precision in that second half, and that has disappeared from us, and we need to find it back.
Yep. Mr. Speaker?
I pretty well said it before, but I'd have to say the quick transition, attacking the weak spots of their zone and really just keeping them to low score. I reckon that's basically just what we need to do.
Yep. That's fair enough. For me, it's being hard at the footy. I think that's all we really need against Melbourne. I think we're stronger, bigger and fitter in the midfield than they are. They're very poor at contested football. I'd really like to see us play quite a physical game at the stoppages and really make them hurt in the tackles this week. As I said in the review last week, that was something I was really disappointed in, was our tackling. So I really want to see us hit them hard and get first hands on the footy, and I think if we do that, we'll win the game.
Yeah, make them bleed.
Fair enough.
And the prediction.
All right, I'll go first. I know some people lately have been getting a bit antsy about other people underestimating the opposition, but I'm going to have to say we're going to return to form this week and win by about 9 goals.
Like it.
Jeez. Gee whiz. Nice call.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
What about you,
Cool.
Rick?
Can I do a shout out?
Oh, I guess so. Yep.
My nephew's going to be on Triple J at 9 o'clock tonight.
Oh, good work.
Tom West doing his new single, The Call. So everyone should get on and listen, but except for Macca, you don't do it straight away and it will be released tomorrow. So you guys better Google Tom and his single, The Call. It'll be released very soon. Hey, who said I wasn't funny? You guys are actually laughing. This is a new first. Right? And I had some clients wetting themselves yesterday. That 5-year-old kid needed to change his diaper. He was in tears.
God.
You've been having lessons, I think. That's the difference.
Port Adelaide, 75 points.
75 points.
Ooh.
Oh my
Lock it down.
goodness.
I like
Lock
it.
in. I'm going to say 68 points. I think there's no way we are going to lose this game. I keep telling myself that. We've got to win this game, and we're going to win big.
Woohoo!
Jeez.
It's going to happen. We've all called it. It's going to happen.
It has to happen.
As I said, if
It
we
will
lose this
happen.
game, I'm walking into the Torrens and probably not returning.
And can I say that I'll be able to look through the glass and peer and see Dom sing the song for the last time in the locker room this week. So that'll be might have to take the camera and take a few pictures.
Yes, do it for
That's
Dom.
what you want.
Do it for Dom.
I hope that's on the banner this week.
Should be.
Surely, Is Dom Is Good has to be on the banner, I reckon.
All right, well, we'll leave it there for now this week. Mr. Speaker, thanks for coming on.
No worries. It's been a pleasure.
We'll get you back
What
on
a
again.
legend. Another Jasper fan. You're more than welcome to come on anytime you like, mate.
Never
Even,
ends.
even as much as you want, you will get rid of Macca and you can just... Oh, sorry. You're still there, Macca? Sorry.
Thanks, mate.
All right. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
No worries.
Let's hope for a big win this week, boys.
Absolutely.
Can't Port
We've
Adelaide.
called it. Go the power.
Yeah.
The Dom is good.
Dom is good. Go Dom.
Go Dom.
Dommy. See you at Nespresso afterwards, Dom. The Small Warrior will be there too. Come and join us.
One last hurrah. Loads up. They need a mark and then a goal. Westhoff almost. Motlop couldn't quite. Enright. Good tackle. Cassisi to win it. Cassisi does win it. Oh!